कर्मणः अपि बोधव्यं च विकर्मणः
Raj, we are not
अकर्मणश्च.
able to see the screen.
I didn't share it.
No.
What am I doing today? Okay. कर्मणोः अपि बोधव्यं च विकर्मणः अकर्मणश्च बोधव्यं गहना कर्मणो गतिः. Karmanah of work, he certainly, api also, bodhavyam should be understood, bodhavyam should be understood, cha also vikarmanah of forbidden work, akarmanah of inaction, cha also, bodhavyam should be understood, gahana very difficult, karmanah of work, gatihi entrance. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. Purport and translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If one is serious about liberation from material bondage, one has to understand the distinctions between action, inaction, and authorized actions. One has to apply oneself to such an analysis of action, reactions, and perverted actions because it is very difficult. It is a very difficult subject matter. To understand Krishna consciousness and action according to its modes, one has to learn one's relationship with the Supreme. That is, one who has learned perfectly knows that every living entity is an eternal servitor of the Lord, and that consequently one has to act in Krishna consciousness. The entire Bhagavad Gita is directed toward this conclusion. Any other conclusions against this consciousness and its attendant actions are vikarmas or prohibited actions. To understand all this, one has to associate with authorities in Krishna consciousness and learn the secret from them. This is as good as learning from the Lord directly. Otherwise, even the most intelligent person will be bewildered. कर्मण्ये कर्म यः पश्येद कर्मणि च कर्म यः स बुद्धिमानेषु मनुष्येषु स युक्तः कृत्सन कर्म कृत. Karmani in action, a karma in action, yah one who pashyet observes, a karmani in inaction, cha also karma fruitive action, yah one who sah he buddhiman is intelligent, manusheshu in human society, sah he yukta is in the transcendental position, kritsna karmana karma krit, although engaged in all activities. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. A person acting in Krishna consciousness is naturally free from the bonds of karma. His activities are all performed for Krishna, therefore, he does not enjoy or suffer any of the effects of work. Consequently, he is intelligent in human society, even though he is engaged in all sorts of activities for Krishna. A karma means without reaction to work. The impersonalist seizes fruitive activities out of fear, so that the resultant action may not be a stumbling block on the path of self-realization. But the personalist knows rightly his position as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he engages himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness. Because everything is done for Krishna, he enjoys only transcendental happiness in the discharge of this service. Those who are engaged in this process are known to be without desire for personal sense gratification. The sense of eternal servitorship to Krishna makes one immune to all sorts of reactionary elements of work. Text 19. यस्य सर्वे समारम्भः कामसङ्कल्पवर्जितः ज्ञानाग्निदग्धकर्माणं तमाहु पंडितं बुधः. One Yasya, one whose survey all sorts of samarambha attempts, kam based on desire for sense gratification, sankalpa determination, Varjitaha are devoid of jnana of perfect knowledge, Agni by the fire, Dagda burned, Karmanam whose work, Tam hi Ahu declare, Panditam learned, Buddha those who know. One is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work has been burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. Only a person in full knowledge can understand the activities of a person in Krishna consciousness. Because the person in Krishna consciousness is devoid of all kinds of sense gratificatory propensities, it is to be understood that he has burned up the reactions of his work by perfect knowledge of his constitutional position as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is actually learned who has attained to such perfection of knowledge. Development of this knowledge of eternal servitorship to the Lord is compared to fire. Such a fire, once kindled, can burn up all kinds of reactions to work. Text 20. Tyaktva karma phala sangam nitya tripto nirashayah karmaniya abhipravritto api naiva kinchit karoti saha. Tyaktva, having given up, karma phala asangam, attachment for the fruited results, nitya always, triptah being satisfied, nirashrayah without any shelter, karmani in activity, abhi pravartah being fully engaged, api in spite of, na does not, eva certainly, kinchit anything, karoti do, sah he. Abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. This freedom from bondage of actions is possible only in Krishna consciousness when one is doing everything for Krishna. A Krishna conscious person acts out of pure love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore he has no attraction for the results of the action. He is not even attached to his personal maintenance, for everything is left to Krishna. Nor is he anxious to secure things, nor to protect things already in his possession. He does his duty to the best of his ability and leaves everything to Krishna. Such an unattached person is always free from the resultant reactions of good and bad. It is as though he were not doing anything. This is the sign of a karma or actions without fruitive reactions. Any other action, therefore, devoid of Krishna consciousness, is binding upon the worker, and that is the real aspect of vikarma, as explained here in before. We have enough time, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Text 21. निराशीर्यतचित्तात्मा तयक्तसर्वपरिग्रहः शारीरं केवलं कर्म कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्. Nirashriha, without desire for the result, yata, control, chitta atma, mind and intelligence, tyaktva, giving up, sarva, all, parigraha, sense of proprietorship over possessions, shariram, in keeping body and soul together, kevalam, only, karma, work, kurvan, doing, na, never, apnoti, does acquire, kilbisham, sinful reactions. Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus working, he is not affected by sinful reactions. A Krishna conscious person does not expect good or bad results in his activities. His mind and intelligence are fully controlled. He knows that because he is part and parcel of the Supreme, the part played by him as a part and parcel of the whole is not his own activity, but is only being done through him by the Supreme. When the hand moves, it does not move out of its own accord, but by the endeavor of the whole body. A Krishna conscious person is always dovetailed with the Supreme desire, for he has no desire for personal sense gratification. He moves exactly like a part of a machine. As a machine part requires oiling and cleaning for maintenance, so a Krishna conscious man maintains himself by his work just to remain fit for action in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. He is therefore immune to all the reactions of his endeavors. Like an animal, he has no proprietorship even over his own body. A cruel proprietor of an animal sometimes kills the animal in his possession. Yet the animal does not protest, nor does it have any real independence. A Krishna conscious person, fully engaged in self realization, has very little time to falsely possess any material object. For maintaining body and soul, he does not require unfair means of accumulating money. He does not therefore become contaminated by such material sins. He is free from all reactions to his actions. Text 22. Yadracha चालाभसन्तुष्टो द्वन्द्वातीतो विमत्सरः समः सिद्धावसिद्धौ च कृत्वापि न निबध्यते. Yadracha, out of his own accord, labh, with gain, santushta, satisfied, dvandva, duality, atita, surpassed, vimatsaraha, free from envy, samah, steady, siddhau, in success, asiddhau, failure, cha, also, kritva, doing, api, although, na, never, nibadhyate, becomes affected. He who is satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions. A Krishna conscious person does not make such much endeavor even to maintain his body. He is satisfied with gains which are obtained of their own accord. He neither begs nor borrows, but he labors honestly as far as is in his power, and is satisfied with whatever is obtained by his own honest labor. Therefore, he is therefore independent in his livelihood. He does not allow anyone's service to hamper his own service in Krishna consciousness. However, for the service of the Lord, he can participate in any kind of action without being disturbed by the duality of the material world. The duality of the material world is felt in terms of heat and cold, or misery and happiness. A Krishna conscious person is above duality because he does not hesitate to act in any way for the satisfaction of Krishna. Therefore, he is steady both in success and in failure. These signs are visible when one is fully in transcendental knowledge. Text 23. Gatsangasya muktasya jnanavastita chetasah yajnaya karma samagram praviliyate. Gatsangasya, of one unattached to the modes of material nature. Muktasya, of the liberated. Jnana avastita, situated in transcendence. Chetasah, whose wisdom. Yagnaya, for the sake of Yagya, Krishna. Acharatah, acting. Krishna, karma, work. Samagram, in total. Praviliyate, merges entirely. The work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. Becoming fully Krishna conscious, one is freed from all dualities and thus is free from the contaminations of the material modes. He can become liberated because he knows his constitutional position in relationship with Krishna, and thus his mind cannot be drawn from Krishna consciousness. Consequently, whatever he does for Krishna, who is the primeval Vishnu. Therefore, all his works are technically sacrifices because sacrifice aims at satisfying the Supreme Person, Vishnu, Krishna. The resultant reactions to such work certainly merge into transcendence and one does not suffer material effects. So anything that we do, we dovetail it to Krishna, we will be just free from all his entanglement. This is a long one. Should we have enough time, Mataji? Can we read one more?
Yes, Mataji, we have time.
Text 24. This is the prayer at all the Mayavads. I don't know about all, but we went to one of the Mayavadi guru, and they used to pray this before taking prasadam, honoring prasadam. Brahmarpanam brahmahavi brahmagnam brahmanahutam brahmevatena gantavyam brahma karma samadhina. Brahma, spiritual in nature. Arpanam, contribution. Brahma, the supreme. Havihi, butter. Brahma, spiritual. Havi is not butter, it's actually ghee. But they could not understand, right? With the Americans, so for them it's written. Brahma spiritual, Agno in the fire of consummation, Brahmana by the spirit soul, Hutam offered, Brahma spiritual kingdom, Eva certainly attained by him, Gantavya to be reached, Brahma spiritual. So both are Brahma. Here, this one, oh, both are, it means spiritual kingdom and Brahma. Karma in activities, samadhina by complete absorption. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. How activities in Krishna consciousness can lead one ultimately to the spiritual goal is described here. There are various activities in Krishna consciousness, and all of them will be described in the following verses. But for the present, just the principle of Krishna consciousness is described. A conditioned soul entangled in material contamination is sure to act in the material atmosphere, and yet he has to get out of such an environment. The process by which the conditioned soul can get out of the material atmosphere is Krishna consciousness. For example, a patient who is suffering from a disorder of the bowels due to overindulgence in milk products is cured by another milk product, namely curd. The materially absorbed conditioned soul can be cured by Krishna consciousness, as set forth here in the Gita. This process is generally known as yajna or activity. Sacrifice is simply meant for the satisfaction of Vishnu or Krishna. The more the activities of the material world are performed in Krishna consciousness or for Vishnu only, the more the atmosphere becomes spiritualized by complete absorption. The word Brahma, Brahman, means spiritual. The Lord is spiritual, and the rays of his transcendental body are called Brahma Jyotir. His spiritual effulgence, everything exists, is situated in that Brahma Jyoti. But when the Jyotir is covered by illusion, Maya, or sense gratification, it is called material. This material wheel can be removed at once by Krishna consciousness. Thus, the offering for the sake of Krishna consciousness, the consuming agent of such an offering or contribution, the process of consumption, the contributor and the result are all combined together. Brahman, or the absolute truth. The absolute truth covered by Maya is called matter. Matter, dovetailed to the cause of the absolute truth, regains spiritual quality. Krishna consciousness is the process of converting the illusory consciousness into Brahman, or the Supreme. When the mind is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, it is said to be in samadhi or trance. Anything done in such transcendental consciousness is called yajna, or sacrifice for the absolute. In that condition of spiritual consciousness, the contributor, the contribution, the consumption, the performer or leader of the performance, and the result or ultimate gain, everything becomes one in the absolute, the supreme Brahman. That is the method of Krishna consciousness. So we will read where we left last time. So Varnashram Dharma is essential because we must have the aim of life. At the present moment, there is no aim of life. The aim of life, which was the shloka we read?
17, Mataji.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Mataji, and last week you said you have to continue the 16. You did half of the 16.
Yeah. That's why I want to. Okay. Okay, let me read. The aim of life is sense gratification. That's all. Indriya tripti is forbidden in the Shastra. Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma. Prescribed duties according to qualification are called karma. And just the opposite is called vikarma. Krishna will explain this. It is the tendency of the materialistic life to act vikarma, forbidden karma. Like anything when we don't follow the Vedic principles, then it is vikarma. This is explained by Rishabdev. At the present moment in Kali Yuga, all over the world, all kinds of sinful activities are being performed. That is called vikarma, illicit sex, meat eating, and intoxication, up to drinking tea and coffee and smoking. They are all vikarma. If you all are not aware of, Srila Prabhupada left his wife because she was so addicted to having tea. He said one day, he told her one day, so what do you like? You have to choose between tea and me, and she chose tea, and Srila Prabhupada left the home. Therefore, Rishabdev warned, my dear boys, all people being mad are committing sinful activities. They do not even know what is sinful. They think that everything is all right. But nature will take account of everything and give them a next body. Next, Krishna says, one should know that is what is actually work. Vikarmanaha means forbidden. That is human life's business. This is human life's business. One should know what is actually work and what is forbidden work. A good citizen knows what is lawful work and what is unlawful work. You can cheat the man-made government by hiding, but you cannot hide Vikarma from the eyes of the Supreme Lord because he is sitting within your heart. He's sitting as Anumata and Upadrashta. He's sitting as a witness, and also permitting us to do something. He is simply seeing what you are doing, and he is also giving sanction. Even the thief who is going to act criminally could not act without the sanction of the super soul. Amazing. You have experience of that. Suppose you are going to do something which is not very good. Conscience is beating you. No, you should not do this. But because without the sanction of the Supreme, we cannot do anything. If we persist, then sanction is given at our risk. So we persist, and then Krishna gives sanction. He doesn't want us to do wrong things. God does not sanction us to do anything criminal. But if we persist, then God gives his sanction. All right, do it at your own risk. When we act on account of our persistence with the sanction of the Lord, then we are subjected to the fruits of such actions. Krishna says, it is very difficult to understand what kind of action should be performed. Therefore, we have to take direction from Krishna, from Shastra, and from Guru. Then our life will be successful. This is a tripod: Krishna, Shastra, and Guru. Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru. Unless one is very intelligent, he cannot understand what is karma and akarma. That is the whole subject matter of Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna was thinking, I am going to commit sinful activities by killing my kinsmen. He was being sinful. He was seeing sinful activity in that fight. So long as there is deliberation of sinful and pious activities, that is called karma. Karma has two results, either suffering or enjoying. Of course, in this material world, there is no enjoyment, but with the hope of enjoyment, we agree to suffer. But there is another position. Isn't this really eye-opening? In this material world, there is no enjoyment, but with the hope of enjoyment, we agree to suffer. But there is another position which is beyond sinful activity and pious activities. That is called akarma. Akarma means that there is no result, either sinful or pious. So when we are doing bhakti, we are performing akarma. It has no, whether it is pious or unpious, it has no results. So we are burning our results. The very vivid example is Arjun. Arjun acted as a Kshatriya, but he was not entangled in the results of his activities because he was doing everything under the instruction of Krishna. This is called akarma. By chanting the Hare Krishna mantra and engaging yourself in devotional service, although it looks like karma, you have become great. Here it is said, karmani akarma yah pasyat. Although they are acting just like ordinary human beings, they are using everything and they are also fighting for this land for Krishna. It is a karma. They are not producing any result by their activities because everything is being done for Krishna. This is the secret. In this institution, somebody is washing the dishes and somebody is dressing the deity. Srila Prabhupada is talking about ISKCON. It does not mean that the one who is dressing the deity is higher than the man who is washing the dishes. No, these are not karma. By washing dishes, he is executing devotional service, and by dressing the deity, he is also executing devotional service. The real point is devotional service. That is called akarma. On text 18. The example I gave you the other day is how a soldier fighting and killing many enemies is not responsible for such killing. The same man, when he's not fighting for his country, if he kills one man, he will be hanged. Because he is fighting and killing on the order of a higher authority, the government, he is not responsible for all those killings. Rather, he is sometimes recognized by being given a medal. Oh, you have killed so many enemies. Very good. But if he kills someone at home, that is also an enemy. Nobody kills anyone unless he is an enemy, but he will be hanged. If he argues in the court, in the battlefield, I killed so many enemies and was given recognition, but at home, I killed only one enemy, and now I am going to be hanged. What is this law? This argument will not stand. So, on a higher authority's order, if you do something, you are not responsible. Text 19 to 21. Yasya sarve samarambha. Pandita means learned and Buddha means one who is well versed. This very term you will find in another place of Bhagavad Gita in the 10th chapter, Buddha Bhava Samanvitaha. Now, who is well versed and who is a Pandita? A very learned man in terms of academic education may not be a learned man according to the view of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita says, he is a learned man who can see everyone on an equal level. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini. Sunichaiva Swapake cha Pandita Samdarshina. And Chanakya Pandita has given a very nice verse which has three words of for the standard of education or who is perfect in education. This verse is an explanation of Pandit. Now, who is a Pandit? Matra Vat Para Dareshu. He is a learned man who sees all women except his married wife as his mother. Matra means mother and Vat means just like. Matravat Para Dareshu. Para Dareshu means other women except one's married wife. Matravat Para Dareshu Para Dvayeshu Lostravat. And others' property should be accepted just like garbage thrown in the street. Lostra means the stones strewn over the street. If others' money is thrown in the street, one should not take it. Oh, here is some money, let me take it. Matra Vat Paradareshu. This Atmavat Sarva Bhuteshu was preached by Lord Buddha. His philosophy was that there should be no animal killing. Atmavat Sarva Bhuteshu, no living entity should be given suffering even by words. That is real life. Atmavat Sarva Bhuteshu Yah Pashyati. One who has such vision is called learned. One is not actually learned simply by educational qualifications. How far a man is educated is understood by his behavior and not by his degrees. So I have given you some explanation of Pandit from different angles of vision. And Buddha. Buddha means well-versed. Well-versed means one who has studied many books of knowledge. Now, how does one become Buddha? By studying, one should have conducted as stated in Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna. Aham sarvasya prabhava matta sarva pravartate iti matva bhajante mam Buddha bhav samanvita. The well-versed person is he who has understood that Krishna is the original fountainhead of all emanations. This verse indicates one who has learned enough knowing we have to work in Krishna consciousness and has no more lust to enjoy this material world. Kama Sankalpa Varijitah. For everything we do in this material world, we have some determination that I shall enjoy the fruits of this work in this way. That is called Kama Sankalpa, determination of lust. So one who is free from such lust, Kam Sankalp Varjitaha, is actually well versed. And how is this possible? Jnanagni Dagda Karmanam. Jnanagni, just as fire burns everything you put into it, so for one who has developed real knowledge, my life's mission is to go back to Krishna and become Krishna conscious. Then that knowledge acts just like fire. In the fire of the highest type of knowledge, all lust is burned. Jnana Agni Dagda Karmanam Tam Ahu Panditam Buddha. Such a person is well versed. That is the explanation of Bhagavad Gita. Yasya Sarve Samarambha. Whatever activities you may do, do them. But Kam Sankalp Varjita. Don't be carried away by Kam. Kam means for your own satisfaction. The Sanskrit word Kam is used for lust, for desire, and for sense satisfaction. So Lord Krishna recommends don't do it for the satisfaction of your senses, for the satisfaction of your lust, or for the satisfaction of your desires. That is the whole thing. The whole teaching of Bhagavad Gita is based on this principle. Here it is prescribed that you can do anything. There is no harm. Whatever your occupation is, that does not have to be changed. Simply your consciousness has to be changed. How? How can consciousness be changed? Gyan Agni Dagda Karmanam. Transferring the present self-interested consciousness to Krishna conscious requires knowledge. And what is that knowledge? That knowledge is I am part and parcel of Krishna. I am not different from Krishna. I am the superior energy of Krishna. That is knowledge. So we are all part and parcel of the supreme pleasure, and our pleasure is in serving the whole. Just like my hand can take pleasure when it is attached to my body, and when it serves my body, it does not take pleasure by serving your body. Therefore, because I am part and parcel of Krishna, my pleasure, my happiness is dependent on serving Krishna. Just as my senses are satisfied when they are used for my purpose and not for your purpose. This is the whole philosophy. I cannot be satisfied by serving you. I can be satisfied by serving myself. But that me, I do not know. That is Krishna. So when we begin to serve Krishna because we are his part and parcel, we will begin to feel transcendental pleasure. Now we are detached. By material contact, we are detached. So the whole process is that we have to attach ourselves again. That is Krishna consciousness. It is just like how in an office so many people are working. Everyone is conscious that whatever profit we are making belongs to the proprietor. Then there is peace. As soon as the cashier thinks, I have so much money, I'm the proprietor, then trouble begins. If we understand that I am a very rich man, I can use my money for my sense gratification, that is calm. But if we understand that whatever I have belongs to Krishna, then I am a liberated person. As soon as we think that I am the proprietor of this wealth, then we are under the influence of Maya. And as soon as we think that Krishna is the proprietor of all these things, then we are free. Okay, now we finished, we read till 24, right, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, till 24.
Let's see if we can, it's a long, maybe
2 minutes, right, Mataji?
3 minutes. Yeah. The process
3
of
minutes.
life described here is Yadrachi Lag Santushta. One should be satisfied with things that which come very easily. We should try not for anything which is difficult to obtain. We should be satisfied. We should be satisfied with whatever comes automatically or by the will of Krishna. There are 6 practices which can deviate us from Krishna consciousness, and there are 6 practices which can encourage us to advance in Krishna consciousness. What are they? First of all, let me state the against principles. Shadbir Bhaktir Vinishyati. Vinashyati means lost. Krishna consciousness is lost. How? By these six processes. What are the 6 processes? Atyahara means to eat more than you required, and Atyahara also means to accumulate more wealth than you require. The whole trouble of the world is that nobody is satisfied. So atyahara means to acquire more than what we need. Because we have to maintain the body and soul together, we must earn something or acquire something to keep our bodies fit. That's all right. But we should not unnecessarily try to accumulate more and more. If I am satisfied with some grains, vegetables, fruit, and milk, and if my health is kept properly kept, then why should I eat more than that simply for satisfying my tongue? We should not do that. Atyahara prayashascha. Pajalpa means talking nonsense. People are accustomed to talk so many unnecessarily things amongst friends which are of no benefit, either spiritually or materially. So that sort of talking should be avoided. Lolyam, that is, lolyam means greediness. That is against Krishna consciousness. And Jansangha means to associate with persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. We should avoid such persons. So there are 6 rules against rules. There are 6 favorable rules. So what are the 6 favorable ones? Prasidati means flourish. Utsaha nishaya dharyat tattat karma pravartanat sanga tyagat satuvritah shadbir bhaktir prasidyati. That causes advance. How? Utsaha. We should be very enthusiastic. Nishchayat means with confidence. Because Krishna says this, I must have confidence that I will become successful. I don't think we'll be able to finish anyway. You have to act accordingly. Tat tat karma pravartanat, and your profession should be very honest. Satto vrita. And sadhu sangha, you should associate with devotees. Just as the against rule is not to associate with persons who are not Krishna conscious, so you should associate with those who are cultivating Krishna consciousness. So these things, 6 things will elevate you to the path of Krishna consciousness. And the other 6 things will go against you.